The final principle of management that we're going to discuss is controlling or monitoring performance. Now, when you think of control, you may not think of many positive things, a controlling boss or a controlling partner, but that's not the case here. When we talk about controlling, we're talking about monitoring performance, comparing it with goals, and taking corrective action as needed. So, why is controlling important? Why is it necessary? So first, it's to adapt to change and uncertainty. With most organizations, the only constant thing is change. Having control systems in place allow leaders to anticipate, monitor, and react to changes. For example, my organization recently rolled out a new service for specific customers. But by monitoring call volume for that market, we were able to identify an uptick in post-visit calls. We reached out to our complaint department and identified an increase in complaints. By reviewing the complaints, we were able to gain an understanding of what needed to be modified and to address those concerns. Next is discover irregularities and errors. Control mechanisms can help an organization identify issues with the product or service they are providing. A familiar example of this is vehicle recalls. If caught early, car manufacturers can recall the vehicle to prevent serious injury or even death. If not, there can be serious repercussions for the organization. Third is reduced costs, increased productivity, and added value. Controls can help identify and eliminate waste, in turn reducing costs for the organization. Making small changes to the office, like offering 3 square meals a day, can help increase productivity. And controls that monitor feedback can help the organization make changes to their product to help it be more appealing than its competitors. 4. Detect opportunities and increase innovation. Controls can help leaders identify a new hot market or a new consumer desire and act on it, stimulating innovation to meet the need. Controls can also provide performance feedback. It's important that an organization is open to feedback and acts on it. That is the only way to ensure continuous improvement. It also ensures that the company is performing consistently across all markets. And finally, decentralize decision-making and facilitate teamwork. Control allows an organization to decentralize decision-making at a lower level and encourage employees to work together in teams. Recently, my organization identified a process opportunity that affected our customers greatly and needed immediate resolution. By decentralizing decision-making and bringing in other departments into the discussion, we were able to work as a team to find a resolution. Each team had a hand in the decision and responsibilities to correct the issue. Another aspect of controlling is the keys to success, so strategic and results-oriented. Controls should be created to support the goals that have been set within your department. These can be in the form of key performance indicators and should be reported to leadership on a consistent basis. Controlling can offer realistic, positive, understandable, and encourage self-control. Controls should be realistic and attainable, and if the goal is unrealistic, there will be little motivation to attain that goal. Positive. Controls should be positive. For example, instead of tracking how many sales were not closed, leadership should monitor how many were closed. And finally, controls should be understandable. They should avoid overcomplicating things. Controls should stimulate positive conversation and collaboration rather than distrust and resentment. And now that we know the keys to success with controls, we have to be able to understand the barriers to control as well. Too much control, let's call it what it is, micromanagement, or having to do everything and refusing to delegate. Having everyone run things by you before taking any action, insisting you be copied on every email, working excessive hours, skipping vacations. Micromanagement can really lead to constant turnover and new hires. Another barrier is too little employee participation. This goes back to employee engagement. By including your team in planning and executing of the control systems, it helps them to see the legitimacy of the process and increase employee morale. Next is overemphasis on means instead of ends. Controls are avenues to which the strategic goals are achieved. If too much emphasis is placed on fulfilling short-term goals like daily and weekly quotas, pushing your team too hard, this can cause burnout for the team, resulting in truancy and having an impact on morale. It can also cause people to do what they want, what they can do to make the goal, even if that means manipulating the system. Then there's overemphasis on paperwork. Placing too much emphasis on reporting on the numbers aspect can cause you to lose focus on other areas of performance. Too much attention paid to reports or quantifying data can lead to falsifying data. And finally, overemphasis on a single approach rather than multiple. Overemphasis on one instead of multiple approaches. One control cannot be the end-all be-all. It's important to have more than one data source to ensure accuracy and objectivity. For example, a common indicator of performance in contact centers is service level. This means a certain percentage of phone calls are answered within a certain amount of time, let's say 30 seconds. However, another control would be average speed of answer. Typically, if the average speed of answer is below the target answer time, you are likely meeting your SLA. However, if the average speed of answer is at 45 seconds, but your SLA is at 95%, you may have an accuracy issue that needs to be investigated. With only one control approach, you wouldn't be able to identify that discrepancy. So in controlling, we talked about planning, or in controlling, there is productivity. So part of that is to influence productivity, a leader utilizes the 4 principles of management. So planning, you can set a benchmark for the output expected by each team member. Organizing, ensure each team member knows what is expected and has the necessary resources to meet or exceed the benchmark. Leading, provide timely feedback to ensure the team members are aware that if they are on the right track to meet productivity or not, they can course correct. And controlling, using control systems to monitor progress and report out results to business leaders. Controlling is necessary, and there are keys to successful control systems. There are also barriers to the control system, and control systems can contribute to your productivity. So in the introduction to contact center management, we talked about planning, understanding your team's role, meeting with your teams, creating goals, and putting the goals into action. We talked about organizing, or learning about the organization, understanding the different aspects of the organization, the mission, vision, and values, and the culture and organizational tools. We talked about leading, which is employee engagement, conflict management, and corrective action. And then we talked about controlling, the necessity of control systems, keys to success, barriers, and productivity. Now, imagine that you work for a company that brings you joy, or a company you would like to create. Draft a mission statement and a vision statement for that company. Remember, a mission statement answers the question, why are we here? And the vision statement answers, what do we aspire to be? And for our second exercise, think about a goal with that same company. What are some of the strategic goals that you may want to achieve? Create a SMART goal for this company. Remember, SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, results-driven, and have target states. Next, we're going to talk about Introduction to Leadership Communication.